What is up, guys? I'm Adriana Maya, and I'm back with another episode of Spliffs and Giggles brought to you by the Red Eye District. I have a very special guest joining me today, Mr. Jordan Young. He's been a professional fighter for 11 years. He's a submission specialist, and his record is 11-2. Thank you so much for joining me, Jordan.
What's up, love? Appreciate you having me.
To kick this off, we're going to start smoking this King Palm. I feel like they're great to start up the conversation, and they really just get the juices flowing.
Get things going. I love palms.
Right, shout out to King Palm, right? You're in Florida, so you're a little accustomed to it, but you're not from Florida, are you?
No, I moved to Florida like 6 years ago. I actually moved here from San Diego, California.
Oh, that is a big switch. And San Diego's so nice. What made you come here?
Pretty much MMA. So American Top Team is here. That's my gym, and that brought me to the great state of Florida.
That's awesome. And before American Top Team, you were with Bellator, correct?
Yeah, so Bellator, when I came to American Top Team, that is the promotion I signed with.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So before Bellator, I was just fighting on like smaller shows in the regional circuit.
Yeah, that's very cool. Do you feel like it's been a very progressive and it's moving how you wanted to in your career?
100%. American Top Team is, the number one gym in the world, and having like the top coaches and training partners around me, it keeps me focused and on the right path.
That's awesome. That's really good. Because I know that big of a change can be kind of like detrimental to some people, but you seem like you're in such a good place and like you have your head on straight and you know exactly what you want. Yeah. What are some of your goals for working with American Top Team?
So I definitely want to finish my career at American Top Team. I don't want to be a guy that like switches from team to team. I have a lot of loyalty there. Yeah. Also, I want to bring a belt to American Top Team. We have a lot of world champions, and it'd be great to add to that collection. When I first came to American Top Team, like when you come in the gym, they have like all the top fighters' pictures on the walls. And that was like my number one goal. But after like 2 years, I made it on there. So then the goals had to step up. Yeah.
You get to go in there every time you walk in and you see yourself. That probably feels so good. That's
motivating
awesome.
for sure.
Who would you say is your favorite trainer that you've got to work with over the years? Because I see you do a lot of work with Dewey Cooper.
Yeah, Dewey Cooper is based out of Las Vegas. I wish that, we lived in the same state. He for sure would be one of my top coaches. Whenever I'm around Dewey, I love to work with him. But here at American Top Team, I would say Coach Mike Brown, Coach Dia Davis. Mike Brown's the MMA coach, and Dia Davis is the boxing coach.
Oh, okay. So you're multifaceted in that sense. I saw back on your Instagram, back in, I believe, 2015 it was, you had just gotten a purple belt for jiu-jitsu, I think. Was that when you started branching out into all like methods of fighting, or have you always been multifaceted?
Yeah, so I'm one of those like new age kids. I started out training everything. So I've always been multifaceted. I think though, when I got my purple belt, I think I was like 19 years old, and I really was just starting to become a professional. I was like an amateur fighter before that. So that's when things really started to take off for me.
That's actually very awesome. It's very cool to be able to go back on your Instagram and see like where you've grown and where you've come from. Are there any people that you've gotten to work with over the years in like training instances that you haven't gotten to fight that you just really want to?
Not necessarily fight. I would just like training wise, when I first came to American Top Team, fighters like Dustin Poirier, George Masvidal, those were like guys that I looked up to and inspired to be around. And so when I got to train with them for the first time, that was like really cool.
That is really cool. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration as a fighter? Like someone that you would model your career after, if anyone?
It's hard not to respect the top fighters. He's not an MMA fighter, but Floyd Mayweather, I think he's a great businessman. And I like the way he takes his time when he speaks and he thinks about everything he says. I think he's undefeated in not only fighting, but life. He doesn't take many losses.
That is true. He's a very confident guy, very sure of himself, very like secure. So I think that is actually a good example. That's someone who, even if he doesn't do his best, he still thinks of himself as the best.
He's the man, no matter what.
Exactly. So I like that very much. What was your professional fighters league debut like?
So it's actually kind of crazy because I made my debut this year, but it was supposed to be in April. And what ended up happening, I had 3 different opponents pull out. And this is the highest level of the sport. So it's like, it doesn't really happen. Sometimes you have 1 person pull out, maybe 2, but 3 is unheard of. And I had 2 people pull out in the last 24 hours. So I didn't get to make my debut and everybody else did. And on top of that, COVID was the year before. So it put like a very long break in between when I got to compete. So when I actually did make my debut in June, it was a little bit weird for me.
You felt like COVID had a huge effect on your performance?
Not huge, but I just think I was a little rusty, a little off. And if I would have got that first fight in April, I think mentally I just would have been a little bit more sharper going into the second half of the playoffs. So I took the loss in June, but next month I have another opportunity. October 27th, I'm having my second PFL fight at the Hard Rock.
Oh, that's so exciting. Are you pumped up?
Yeah, 100%. I got the call a few weeks ago, and I've been working very, very hard.
That's awesome. Like your second chance to do that. That's fire.
100%.
Do you know who you're fighting, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit of an awkward situation. I'm fighting Omari Akhmedov. He's a Russian fighter. He was top 10 in the UFC. He recently got released, or he left, whatever he did there. But he's my teammate at American Top Team.
Oh, yeah, so I didn't know that you guys could fight your teammates. That's interesting.
What Drake said on that last album. Say no friends in the industry. So it's a dog eat dog world. I like Omari, and Omari likes me. We spoke about the fight. We'll be cool after, but it's too much money on the line to play politics. We're gonna have to go out there and bang it out for sure.
I'm trying out this dab pen while you're telling me about the politics of that. And man, that thing hits. That actually is. It was a little tricky, but I did figure it out. And it's got a bit of a kick to it. I don't know if you dab, but you can definitely, like a little switcheroo. I don't even know if I'm doing this right. I pressed the button, and then I dipped the tip onto the dab, and then I just sucked. Yeah, and it did it. The instructions are a little loose on the packaging, so Jordan and I are testing it out. Got a little? You got a little, right? We got a little something. We're going to figure this out, guys. But that's really cool. It's actually, I think it's going to be a great growing moment for both of you, being able to fight your teammate. Do you guys train together, or are you kept kind of separate while you're working?
He's moving up a weight class for this fight. So in the past, we trained together a lot. But as of recently, we've been separated by that weight class. So, so now it's a little bit of an awkward situation where, he's sticking to the guys he normally trains with, and then vice versa. We're staying out of each other's way.
I saw on one of your stat pages, and this might be an old thing, but it said that you were the youngest in the division. Is that still true, or is that an old stat?
Yeah, so when I was in Bellator, I was the youngest. And then now that I moved to the PFL, I'm also still the youngest. So.
Wow. Does that feel good to you that you've had so much success and you're the youngest guy?
For sure. I won't lie, though. Now that I'm 26, turning 27 in a couple months, I feel older. I don't feel like the young kid no more. So I
understand that.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't count for as much as when I was 21, 22 and the youngest guy.
So you're a little hard on yourself. Sure. That's it. You're a little bit of a self-critiquer. That's okay. I actually feel the same way. Completely different avenues. I'm in the porn industry, but as soon as I turned 19, I had a breakdown. I was like, I'm not 18 anymore. And it was, kind of the same thing, but different reasons.
That's kind of big in the industry, right?
Yeah, it's a huge thing. And now that I'm 25, I have people that I've been working with since I was 18, and they're like, it's kind of crazy you're still around. And I'm like, are you telling me I'm old right now?
That's how I feel.
So I definitely understand what you're saying. We're both dealing with a little bit of that. Now, do you use weed at all to help you in your training, or CBD? Because I know that there's some products that they push towards people who are in your avenue, but do you actually use them or partake?
100%. I don't have any sponsors right now. So anybody watching this who wants to work with, a top fighter, hit me up. Yes. But say I use CBD and THC, more so THC. CBD, I think it works, but I don't have a solid connection for that to get
I
in.
gotcha.
But THC wise, I definitely like to smoke, especially after hard training days. I think, it helps the brain with recovering. We take a lot of hard shots, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, especially to the head. Oh my gosh. What would you say has been your favorite fight that you've gone through?
My favorite fight, my Bellator debut. I think it's going to be similar to this upcoming fight I have next month. I was very hungry going into that fight, and I had just moved to Florida. I didn't have much to my name, and I believe I was 5-0 at the time. And I beat a hometown kid who was 8-0 at the time by judge's decision, but it was a 30-26. It was a complete shutout. So I think that that's the type of mindset and work ethic that I'm showing right now.
And you're sticking through with it. Yeah. And it's doing well for you. You've had a lot of success. You being a submission specialist, I couldn't stop laughing at that because I was like, oh, he likes to choke people when I was looking at your stats. Then immediately it said submission king. And I'm like, oh, that's his thing. Why is submission your way to go?
Going into my fights, I like to entertain the fans. Fans, submission. Some people like submissions, but a lot of people like to see the knockouts. They like to see, hands being thrown. That's what I like to do. But I'm a tall, long guy, so sometimes when I fight people who are smaller than me, they look to, get in close and take me down. So that's how the submissions really come about. I'm talented when it comes to that, but then people get a little carried overboard and they start saying like, oh, he's a submission specialist. Overall, I'm a dangerous, complete fighter. You know what I mean? I can finish people any type of way, but I don't run from the submission specialist. I'll take it. It just says that I have a skill set. You know?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, once you get on the floor, it's a bit of a shutout. It's a little dangerous to go on the floor with you. I saw an armbar you had someone in, and it made me want to throw up. It's like, oh no, this poor man. Like, somebody help him. But that's very cool. Your fight coming up. How often have you been training for it?
So I train 6 days a week, and most days it's 2 times a day. Sometimes on a Saturday, maybe if you're tired, you train once.
You're dedicated, right?
For sure. That's what you got to be in anything you do. Right?
Yeah, that's tough. That's a lot. I do not like working out. I'm like twice a day. Ooh, and you're probably doing really intense, like rigorous workouts and stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. It's important to recover just as much.
Absolutely. Do you think that you spend more time practicing like your fighting and like your fighting skill set, or like in like punching people? And I don't know, like technical terms, so this probably sounds super unclassy, but like punching people or like a wrestling more, like where you get them on the ground and stuff?
I think it depends on the fight. Like this fight, Omari's most likely gonna, try to box me a little bit, but he's gonna try to go for the takedown a lot. So, we're working a lot of defensive wrestling, but at the same time, it's important to have our offense going too, which is gonna be our hands. And so a lot of boxing and defensive wrestling for this fight. But like if I didn't have a fight coming up, then I probably would do whatever my coaches felt that I need to work on. Get better at the time.
Well, that's good. So you're definitely open to the criticism and stuff.
100%.
That's good. That's awesome. What would you say is the biggest misconception about you?
The biggest misconception about me?
It could be about you personally, about your style of fighting.
Well, if we're talking fighting, people think that I have a hard time with the wrestling. Sometimes you're fighting a really good wrestler. Things can blow your way. But if we're talking personal, I'm not sure. I think that people think that I'm probably a little less down to earth than what I really am. You know what I mean? Like people get caught up in social media and like looking at the wrong stuff. When you meet me, I'm very humble and I treat everybody the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna say you're so chill. The chillest guy ever. Like, and you smoke weed. I'm like, it's a plus. It's awesome. That's very cool. Have you had any fighters that you've gotten to work with that you'd like another chance at?
I helped out George Masvidal with 2 of his camps for Donald Cerrone and Darren Till, and we were 2-0 for those fights with bonuses too, $50,000 bonuses after those fights. So I hear he might be fighting Leon Edwards next, and if he does fight Leon, I'd like to help him for that camp. I think I can give him a good look for that, and we can go 3-0 with 3 bonuses too.
I have no idea what that means, but I know 3-0 is good. I'm like, bonuses, that's good too.
Yeah, bonuses are always good, right?
See, guys, I'm trying. We're doing really good. I'm so happy you said you use THC products. So we have a plethora of goodies. And you said you didn't have a hookup on CBD. So here's something you can actually try. We have a bunch of these. We'll send you home with them. There's Simple Garden CBD cubes. Okay. These are Delta 8. Delta 8's like the step up of like THC, right? Okay. So I know that about Delta 8. I didn't know that these had Delta 8 in them. So I gave them to people and my friends and family that don't smoke weed at all. And I was like, oh, they're CBD. Like, trust me.
Give them that.
I'm not kidding. All of them were arguing with me. Like, they're not CBD. I'm like, guys, would I steer you wrong? Come to find out, there is THC in these, but it's also CBD. So read labels first off. But you definitely have to try those. They're delicious, and that's how they trick you, because they're like a regular fruit snack. I figured it out. But I figure if you need to get on some CBD products, we got a bunch of those, and they just might be your new little bestie for prepping or winding down after your training.
Pop the yellow one.
Right, the yellow one. We're going for it. Right?
Oh, that's candy.
It's a setup, I told you. Because you eat the whole thing, and you think they're CBD, and then they're not. So, sorry to my friends who I gave this to, and my mom. How do your parents feel about your career and your fighting?
So my mom, it's kind of crazy. She actually kind of helped me get into MMA. You know, she was a fan of the sport, and she's never missed a fight of mine. She loves. She loves to watch me fight. She's at every fight.
That's so sweet. She lives in Florida too, I'm assuming, so she can be around all of them?
I was born and raised in Iowa in the Midwest, so she still lives in the Midwest, and she's a real estate agent. She's killing it there.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So you get to still go back home and see everyone.
Yeah, every now and again, for
Are
sure.
You like
but it's a good excuse for her to come out here.
Absolutely. And I'm sure she loves Florida. It's beautiful out here, right? Get to see her sun shining and then enjoy this nice weather. Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
very
She's
cool.
She's a beach person.
Have there been any fights that they've been like worried about you going into or anything?
No, not really. I think that's part due to, I'm very talented, but also my confidence is always super high. I think that when you exude high confidence, it doesn't give the people that care about you a reason.
That is very true. I actually agree with that. What would you say has been the biggest takeaway that you've gotten from the losses that you've had?
The losses, just to, this last one, take life a little more serious. It's not that I was fucking off too bad or anything, but, everything is right now in the moment, and it's best to do things when the opportunity is in front of you than like to play around like you have time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Next year or some shit like that. So, like I said, I'm in a different mindset now. I definitely learned from that last one, and I'm taking this next fight very serious.
Mm-hmm. What was the biggest change? We're kind of jumping back a little bit here, but what was the biggest change you think from you going from Bellator to the professional fighter league?
That money went up.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. So, the biggest change really would be the networks. I went from fighting on like Bellator. I think they were on like Paramount Networks and DAZN, which I never made it on DAZN because they didn't main card me. But that was like a much smaller audience than ESPN Plus. You know what I mean? The UFC does their shows on ESPN Plus, and PFL does as well. And it's so convenient. You know what I mean? People could be anywhere, and as long as they have their cell phone on them, they can pull up the fight. So I enjoy the PFL, and also ESPN Plus is a much better network.
That's awesome. Have you noticed a better engagement of like fans and stuff since you had your switch?
Yeah, because I got verified on Instagram and Bellator, but like I fought there 6 times, and maybe I would gain like a few hundred followers after each time. I fought my first PFL fight, and I gained, I think, like 5,000 or 6,000 followers.
Oh, wow. That is a huge difference.
Week, so
that is a very big difference.
I think ESPN Plus sticks a lot more, and, PFL is doing a much better job of showing off my personality a little bit. Like if people don't give you interviews and give you the chance to show off your personality, then how they won't know what you're about.
That is true. That is very true. And you want people to see it. You go, For your fight coming up on the 27th, is there anything that you're doing differently to get ready for it?
Not necessarily differently. I picked up an e-bike, an electronic bike, so it has a little bit of power on it, but I'm still using leg work, so I bike to all of my workouts 6 days a week right now, so I'm getting like a couple 100 miles of biking in. Like I said,
like a triple workout.
Yeah, it's a little bit. So like on the way there, I pump real hard. It's a good warm up. But like on the way home, I'm using the electricity a little bit.
Oh yeah,
I'm cheating just
so you
a
can
little
relax.
Bit. Yeah, but it's still a little bit of extra work, and then that sweat carries on the way home too. So I think that just like the little details like that is gonna
make a difference.
Yeah, I've always worked hard. You know what I mean? So.
Well, that's the best mindset to have, that you're like, everyone can always improve. So you're always finding something to do better for yourself. I think that's wonderful.
Gotta progress every day, right?
Exactly. This has been so cool. I feel like we should try another treat. I just tried these.
What'd you try?
Dunkaroos. They're the cereal exotic. I'm not gonna lie, I ate a whole pack. Not these. I ate that Stony Bar, the Rice Krispie treat. And man, it put me on my ass. I don't know if you like these. I've never had these before. It's cereal, I guess.
Rip open?
Oh, no, it's open. You
Okay.
slide that bitch. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we in there.
Right? It was delicious, though. But you're going to get high as fuck over this. I already know it.
More candy.
Right? See, it's candy. That's the setup. That's how they got me with this Fruity Pebbles deliciousness. We're going to have to send you home with this. This one's the truth. You eat that whole thing, you're going to be feeling amazing. It's so good. I ate it before I got on the plane, so I don't know how you feel about getting high before your flight. But I was in the best mood I've ever been. I was like happy as shit to see people, like feeling good. This has been such a pleasure learning about fighting and you personally. Thank you so much for coming on, Jordan. I've loved interviewing you. Jordan has a fight coming up October 27th at the Hard Rock Hotel in Florida. Is there anything you would like to share with us so we can keep an eye on you?
Anybody that's listening, be sure to check my fight out, and check me out on Instagram too at 2Check Fighter. And one other thing, so like people haven't been understanding, I changed my name on Instagram to 2Check Fighter, and in the sport of MMA, what 2Check means to me is like in MMA we get paid 2 checks for fighting. We get one for showing up, and then you don't get the second one unless you win. Mm-hmm. So when I say I'm a 2Check fighter, that means that I win my fights. So that's the little education right there. But yeah, check me out on Instagram at 2Check Fighter, and I appreciate you having me on for the show. You got a dope setup.
Thank you. It was nice to finally meet you, Jordan. I'm Adriana Maya. This has been Spliffs and Giggles, brought to you by the Red Eye District. Mwah.